Eugene Gotti, commonly known as Gene Gotti, is the younger brother of the famous John Gotti. Born in 1943 in the Bronx, New York, Gene grew up in the same environment as his more famous brother and eventually became a made member of the Gambino crime family. While John Gotti became the flashy and media-famous boss of the Gambino family, Gene Gotti chose a different path. He was known for being more low-key and was deeply involved in the family's drug operations. During the 1970s and 1980s, Gene reportedly played a significant role in the Gambino family's involvement in heroin trafficking, an activity that traditional old-school mafiosi like Carlo Gambino and Paul Castellano had strictly forbidden. Gene Gotti rose to the rank of Capo and commanded his own crew. He was considered a loyal brother and a dedicated member of the family. However, his involvement in narcotics would later cause serious problems for both him and the Gambino family. The FBI was increasingly focusing on drug cases because they carried heavier sentences and were easier to prosecute with modern surveillance. In 1989, Eugene Gotti was arrested on major drug trafficking charges. In 1990, he was convicted of running a large heroin distribution network. He was sentenced to 50 years in federal prison. This conviction was a significant blow to the Gambino family, especially because it happened while his brother John was still the boss. Gene Gotti served more than 28 years in prison. He was finally released in 2018 at the age of 75. After his release, he lived quietly and largely stayed away from public attention, unlike other members of the Gotti family. His story is historically important for several reasons. First, it highlights the internal conflict inside the Gambino family between the old rules, no drugs, and the desire for high profits from the drug trade. Second, his conviction showed how the FBI was successfully using drug cases to target high-ranking Mafia members. Third, the contrast between the two Gotti brothers is very interesting. One extremely public and flashy John, the other more traditional and quiet Gene. Even though he was the brother of one of the most famous Mafia bosses in history, Eugene Gotti never sought the spotlight. He represented a more classic street-level capo who focused on making money through criminal enterprises. Gene Gotti's long prison sentence and eventual release in old age reflect the reality faced by many Mafia members of his generation. Decades behind bars due to strong federal prosecutions in the late 1980s and 1990s. His life serves as an educational example of how even powerful and well-connected Mafia families could be damaged by internal violations of traditional rules and by increasingly effective law enforcement strategies targeting drug-related crimes.